Hello. Today is February 19th. Day 7 of the birth control. I will say I am starting to feel some effects of this. I've been very moody. Uh, I was real sluggish today. Um, Dizzy at one point earlier in the day, at the beginning of my day. I don't know if it's because of my thyroids. Now that the doctor has prescribed me a pill to take every day for a month, I'll go and pick those up tomorrow and get started on those. And I don't know if it's because of this, me taking these, but yeah, I've noticed some things, and I was cramping a little bit this morning. So I'm gonna keep you posted about what's going on. I should be receiving the bag of goodies on Friday. So I'll share with you all that comes inside that bag and what I will have to do with them once that time comes. I did have to go onto the patient portal today of Chicago IVF and complete the paperwork. So this paperwork is basically them asking you what you're going to do in the event that they are able to retrieve eggs. And so they ask you questions of what do you want to do if you and your husband separate, you and your husband divorce, one of you dies, both of you die. Do you want to freeze the eggs after you retrieve them? Because some women can have multiple eggs mature, like 10, 12 eggs. And so with you freezing them, you won't have to keep going through the shots every month in order to retrieve them. They'll just go into the freezer and pull out the mature eggs and then plant them. Well, this will be hopefully my first time that they'll actually be able to get eggs, because the first 2 cycles I did, the last 2-3 years, they weren't able to get the eggs because of all the fibroids. So in total, I've had 33 fibroids removed over 6 surgeries. And so I always had to keep going back in because the fibroids were in the way of them trying to retrieve the eggs for 2 cycles. So hopefully now that I am fibroid free, thank the Lord. I still have a blocked fallopian tube though, which is why I have to go through IVF, because the sperm can't travel. It's a 50% chance that the sperm will make it to the uterus because one of my fallopian tubes is blocked. So IVF is my best bet. So once all of this gets started, once I finish taking the pills and then started injecting shots and doing all those other things that I'll tell you about Friday, then if they're able to retrieve eggs, we can freeze them, which you have to pay a monthly fee to freeze them. And I believe it's like $80, $90 a month. Vince and I had paid for that the first 2 cycles, but didn't need it because they weren't able to get any eggs. Plus you have to pay a set fee to even start the process of freezing eggs. So we decided that because I'm already perimenopausal, meaning I am at any moment I can go into menopause at 37 years old. So I'm already making a small amount of eggs because I'm close to having menopause. Plus my fallopian tube is blocked. So we're not expecting a lot of eggs anyway, given the makeup of my body at this moment. And every day that goes by, it gets worse and worse. That's why I'm so adamant about starting the cycles, because I never know when it can end naturally on its own. So last time I did the cycle, there were 8 eggs, 8 follicles, and they weren't able to get to them. So I don't know how many of them actually would have turned into an embryo. So hopefully this cycle in March, I'll be able to have eggs, at least 6 to 7 of them. And so Vince and I have decided that we're not going to freeze any eggs. They'll just take the good ones out the batch and implant them. And we pray that they latch on and that we have an embryo and have a baby. Actually have a baby because they create the embryo outside my body. So they take my sperm, his sperm, and my egg and make the embryo, and then they implant that into my uterus. So they do all of the hard work outside the body and put the embryo in. So hopefully I'm able to create enough eggs to where they can get at least 2 or 3 good ones and implant those. We've talked about having multiple children. The way my body is set up, that is probably my best bet. One and done. But whatever the Lord says, that's what we'll do. But we don't want to keep the eggs. So any eggs that are left over will be discarded. We don't want to donate them to anybody. We don't want to freeze them and keep them for someone else. So we've decided that we won't freeze them. They'll use what they can from what they're able to get and discard the rest of them. And if we decide to go through another cycle of this after this one, if this one doesn't work, then we'll just start from scratch, which is what I'm doing now. So I had to fill that paperwork out. Vince has to go in to the patient portal and sign his John Hancock to make everything valid. So we're slowly moving down the pike. I know it sounds crazy, but I'm actually excited to start giving myself shots. It doesn't bother me. Maybe because I've done it so many times. I've done 2 cycles full, 2.5 cycles. 1 cycle I had to stop because of personal reasons. But, I mean, it's not that bad once you get used to it. Now, the issue is when somebody else wants to do it. So, Vince is actually giving me 1 shot out of the 3 cycles. 3 cycles. And that was the first and last time. So, you'll get to see all that fun stuff. So, for now, I'm going to take this pill. See? And check back in tomorrow. See you later.